What's going on, everybody? Chump Change XD here. Hope you're all staying healthy and having a great day. Today I am reading the proper number on the thermostat. It's 75 degrees. So real quick, as you guys saw in my last video, I was absolutely reading the wrong number when I was looking at this. So it was on Celsius, and because this number was higher, I'm so used to looking at the temperature being higher, it just didn't register in my brain until I was editing, and then it was just too late. So whatever, but the batteries died in this, and when I changed the batteries, it changed over to Celsius, and I did not realize it. So now I know the real temperature in my garage. But anyways, back to the purpose of this video. So what I was going to do today was get this rig into my rental property that is actually attached to this property to basically help heat the living room, dining room area while it's winter time. That way we're not wasting propane for no reason. I'm paying for the electricity anyways, might as well utilize it, right? But in lieu of that, I'm sitting here and I'm like, how am I gonna do this? Because these two cards, as you guys can see right there in the back, they are 6600 XTs, and I have them stretched over to this board. If you guys haven't seen this video, I'll leave a link above. But this is one of those 4X splitters, and that, obviously, I had to stretch it back there to be able to reach the USBs, like I mentioned in that video. But the power is also, for those two cards, coming off of the breakout board right above, because this 1200 watt PSU was just not enough to power everything. So now I'm sitting here wondering, what am I gonna do if I only take these 8 cards? Because there is 10 right now on this rig with those two, and obviously I can't take those two with that power supply. I would have to add another power supply, which is right there, but still that is gonna be drawing a lot of watts off of a basic 120 volt plug like I'm gonna have in the house. So I don't think it's gonna actually be realistic, and I don't wanna cause any issues or fires or anything like that. So plan here today, let's mess around with this RebTech board. I wanna see if I can get more than 8 cards to register on a RebTech by using that. As you can see, this is one of those PCIe to 4 PCIe multi-hub adapters from AAAWAVE. Thank you very much for sending that over, by the way. The reason I'm thinking that this type of splitter might be able to work with the RebTech is because it is actually a USB that goes to another USB, and then PCIe risers go into that up to the cards. So I want to see if it's going to work. First point of attack, I need to shut this rig down because this card right here is actually going to be coming back to the studio with me, as you guys just saw in the last video with that helium hotspot. I just got another 3090 for the Win 3, and I want to make an entire for the Win 3 rig. Doesn't really matter if it's all 3090s or 3080s or whatever the case may be. I'm just actually excited to have a full rig of For the Win 3 cards. I think it would look absolutely insane. So that's gonna be my plan. Let's get into Hive OS real quick. First, we're gonna stop the miner. All right, so she is off. So now my original plan was to take this card and put it in that card's place. And then that was gonna be the end of it. I was just gonna take this home and I was gonna build a full For the Win 3 rig in the studio or whatever the case may be. But now, obviously, things changed, and I gotta figure out what the deal with these two cards are. So I'm gonna shut down this rig as well, because I wanna take that splitter out. Plan is to basically remove the USB that's going from this card, which is right here, up to the board, right here, actually. If I unplug that, I plug the splitter into that one, and we're gonna try to run all 3 cards. So let me get this set up how I think it's going to work, and we'll be right back. All right, so what we'll do first is, I guess, remove this splitter right here. And as you guys know, with the RebTech, I'm not gonna need this end. So I'm just gonna use the USB and put this aside, basically. So I'll just throw this right here. I did end up bringing some older GPU stands. These were like the first editions that I was doing some testing on, basically. We had to make some minor adjustments, but I'm gonna take those. Actually, I guess I could probably do it right now. And we'll put them basically right here, I think. I'm just gonna lay the 3 cards right there. this white one and the two 6600 XTs. And then we're gonna plug into that breakout board, and I'll probably put the splitter right here on top of the server PSU, or right in the back on top of the actual PDU, and we'll go from there. So let me get those cards off of the shelf down there. I'm gonna get them on these stands. I'm gonna get a riser on this one, get this one on the stand as well, and then we'll get everything plugged in and we'll see what happens inside Hive OS. I'm super curious to know if this is going to work. Let's do it. So I have 10 cards on the RebTech board, all wired up. Where the 3070 was, I ended up taking that USB out and I plugged in the splitter in its place. So the splitter goes down there to that board. I have a 6-pin powering it from the breakout board. I have splitters, basically riser and a card to a 6-pin all the way back to the breakout board on all 3 cards. So we should be good to go. Now let's fire this thing up and see if the RebTech can register more than 8 cards. Moment of truth. That definitely doesn't look like it's working. All right, well, I'm not sure, good or bad, but those fans aren't spinning. They were. These ones aren't spinning. They never were. But let's see if maybe it's just the AMD driver hasn't kicked in because all Nvidia cards were on this rig. So let's see. All right, bad news. Solid no. More than 8 GPUs do not work on the RebTech. All 3 of these cards are not registering, not even spinning the fans. Everything else booted up perfectly fine, all running fine. If I go into Hive OS, look at the main page right there, you see 1 red square, which means it's not registering just on that spot where that USB is going down to that breakout board. So that kind of stinks. Where it's going down to that splitter. So, unfortunately, more than 8 cards are not going to work on the RebTech. That's definitely a bummer. Now I have to rethink this a little bit. All right, so before I actually call it a day, what I want to do right now is I want to unplug 2 of these, and we'll just lift them up so they're not touching anything or grounding anywhere. All right, so now those are just floating. So I only got 1 card plugged in. So my thoughts here are 1 card plugged in, it's going from the board down to the splitter, and then from the splitter to the card. It's basically the same thing as a USB to the card. So let's, I guess let's see if that registers. And if it does, I guess we'll be in decent shape. I just saw this fan try to turn on. That was weird. So those KOs aren't spinning, and this guy right here just stopped. So I'm hoping that one of these starts up. Let's get back into Hive and we will see. No dice, still running 7 cards. So that obviously didn't work. They shut this down. Again, none of those cards were spinning. So now my only and final thought is let's at least try taking this USB out. I'll try putting it in the GPU 1 slot, and we will see if that works. So I think GPU 1 is on the top. So the only reason I'm trying this is because you know how like motherboards have full 16 slots, then they have an 8X and a 4X and a 1X. All motherboards are different. So I'm wondering if maybe the USBs are wired different on the RebTech. I mean, I guess it's worth a shot. Why not try it? So let's see. And still nothing is spinning, so I'm assuming this is not gonna work. Nope, same deal. 7 cards registering. All right, so no dice. Well, I guess it wasn't a complete waste. At least we know now that a RebTech can definitely not take a splitter. So let me put everything back together as it was, and I will stick this 4GB card in place of the 3070 like my plan originally was, because this one is coming back to the studio with me. And then these 2 6600s are gonna get thrown back on this rig for the time being, and then I'm going to determine how many watts that thing is pulling and if it is safe or not to feed everything off of that one 1200 watt PSU. The only reason I'm thinking it might be okay is because these guys right here, these PNY 1660 Supers only take like 70 watts. So, I mean, 70 is even high. I think they honestly take right around 60. So, I think it might be worth a shot just trying to see what the wattage draw is off of that single PSU. But either way, let me put all this back together, get things back situated. I want to turn this rig back on. I want to turn that rig back on because I'm losing money by the second. So give me 1 minute and we'll get back to it. And there it is. Everything is back up and running. This rig right here, I've got the two tabletop mounts right in front. It is attached to this motherboard just like it was, but without the splitter because I had to put the cards back there previously. I didn't have the tabletop mounts with me prior. So I brought them today so I could do this. As you can see, we have the good old 3070 right here. That's gonna be coming back to the garage. We're gonna get that all situated. And real quick, you can see, this is the wifey's card from Mr. Anonymous Miner. If you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. Like and subscribe, please. He's an awesome dude. He sent this pocket change, this Radeon RX 570. It is doing 29.58 mega hash, and we BIOS modded it, so it's only doing 75 watts in the software. The clocks on it, for anybody wondering, the RX 570, 4 gigabyte, 1150 on the core. We have one core state. Core voltage is 850, 0 on the memory controller voltage, 1950 on the memory clock, 1 on the memory state. If you scroll down a bit, we have the aggressive undervolting set on, and we have the AMD Tweaker Refresh 20. So I guess at least we learned something today. You cannot put more than 8 GPUs on a RebTech motherboard. It will not accept a splitter. I learned something. Hopefully you guys did too. If you did, please don't forget, smash that like, consider subscribing. I do try to drop a video each and every single day for you guys, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace.